Geeks for Geeks has a challenge for you, the 390 challenge. Choose what you want to learn in 2024 and aim to complete at least 90% of the course in the next 90 days. And if you do that, you get back 90% of what you paid for the course. We believe you can do that. Now all you got to do is commit to your success. Commit with Geeks for Geeks.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be continuing the previous left video where due to some certain reasons we got disconnected and the stream got ended, right? So this will be another Flutter basic video. In the previous section we have already completed all the part, like installation was done, basic topics was done. So we will be just covering out the rest of the remaining topics and then we will be moving on with other things. Okay. So I hope my voice is audible and clear to each and everyone. Just let me know in the comment section that whether I'm audible or not. Okay, so let's start. I hope, yeah, my voice is clear. So let's start. Okay, so before starting, let me show you what are the topics that we are going to be covering. Okay, installation part and the basics of programming was done. Dart fundamentals. If you have any issues or errors understanding Dart, just let me know and comment down below. And what I will be doing, I'll be creating a full one short video of Dart where all the basics of Dart will be completed. Okay, so for all those people who have certain knowledge or a little knowledge of programming, those people will not be having any sort of issues. Okay, so these are the topics that we are going to be covering in today's section. Concepts will start from widgets, types of widgets, state, stateless, material, scaffold, center, widget tree. Then inside the widgets, we have a scaffold, container, text, icon, app bar, column, list view, grid view, gesture detector, and navigation. After that, we have event routes. If we are working in a project, we should be understanding how the routes work. If you want to click on certain button or if you want to redirect yourself to certain, how this navigation works. So that is also very important. That's why we are going to be covering that part as well in this navigation part. Okay. Now, last we will be having a basic example, which is stateful and stateless widget, and then we will be seeing the throughout code. Okay, so let's get started. This is our basic file. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me remove all those things, and we will be starting from the start. Okay, let me do one thing. Okay. Here, what we will do, as I have already explained in the previous part, that whenever we write a code of certain file, we will be doing import. Okay, so we will be importing, and I'll write import, and we will be importing certain packages like material.dart over here. So I'll write package flutter material.dart. Okay, this is the basic package that we are going to be using. After that, to start any certain app, we need to write void main. Inside that, run app. Run app is an entry point which will define from where exactly our app is going to be starting. Okay, now as we have already created my app, then definitely we should be having, we have to classify that now. Currently, we have given this that you have to run this my app, but where exactly this my app is, we have to specify that part. So what we are going to do, we are going to extend it. So class my app extends. Then you have to specify stateless or stateful. Currently, we are going to just go with stateless widget. And I'll be explaining you a basic about it in the stateless widget. Okay. After the stateless widget, we have this parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis, we will write override. Okay. This widget is the root of your application. Okay. After this, what we are going to write, we are going to write override. Override. Inside this override, we will return a widget. Okay. Now, all those definitions and of widget isn't, I will be giving you. Just let me first complete this code so that I can show you how it works. Okay. Build. And inside this, we are going to be writing build context and what it's taking context. Okay. Now, after this, what we are going to return, whenever we call a widget, it always returns something. Initially, we will be just returning a material app. Okay. an empty material app is there. And right after this material app, inside this material app, we will be writing home. We have to specify home over here. So inside the home, we have to give another widget. So what I'm going to give a scaffold over there. And inside this scaffold, it takes many things. Okay. So I'll just explain you that part as well. Currently, that is all our code. Okay. This is the basic scaffold. It has a body as well. And inside the body, you can give anything like center, hello world. Okay. Now you can see these blue lines. These blue lines will be gone if I'll just add a const over here. It basically asks us to give a constant so that it can understand all those values which are inputted will remain constant. Okay. Now, starting with the first thing, that is what are widgets. So in Flutter, everything is a widget, but what exactly you will be calling a widget? A widget is a basic reusable self-contained building block that represents a part of your user interface. Like here you can see this widget is called build. It contains build context and it has some UI related things like material app. Okay, material app will be a basic app which will be showing the visuals of your particular code, right? Then that is what you will call a widget. Okay, now widget can be simple like buttons, or it can be complex like an entire screen. Currently this particular widget will be a complex one because it's going to give us the entire screen, but we can also create widgets like buttons and everything, which we'll be creating in the later part, so don't get confused of that. Now, talking about the types of widget, so as I have already told you, widgets are of two types, broadly are of two types, that is stateless widget and stateful widget. The basic is stateless widget are immutable and don't change over time. They are purely based on input properties. Whatever I'll input, that much only will depend. Then you have the stateful widget. Stateful widget, on the other hand, are the properties which can dynamically change based on the user interaction or data changes. Okay. Now, what exactly is that state in our stateful or stateless widget? So state in Flutter represents the information that can be read synchronously when the widget is built. Okay. The information that you can read out of that widget is basically called a state. Okay. Now inside this widget, what you can do, widget can be rebuilt to reflect changes in the state. Now, as I have just told you that stateful widget is a functional building block that represents the immutable part of our user base. Okay, as I have just showed you right here. Then after that, what you have this material and Cupertino designs. So what is material app? So material app is a basic starting point of your Flutter application, providing the essential configurations and settings. Okay, like here you can see we have home and other like ebook show checked manner mode is false, and all these things. These are basic building blocks, and it contains that. After that, you have a scaffold. Okay, so the scaffold widget provides a basic structure for implementing the visual element of your app. Like for example, the body, which I have showed you, and you were also having this app bar over here. Okay, this app bar is also there. That can be also represented here, right? What error it's showing? Okay, so yeah, here you have const. I have to remove that const, and now you can see you can get an app bar over here. Okay, so this is an app bar is also implemented inside this. Then you have a center widget. Okay, so center widget is what? The center widget with align itself within your own screen, and you will be giving a straightforward way to center a particular content. Okay, so that is all your center widget is all about. Now, let's start. Before going into the Flutter fundamentals, you should be aware about the basic programming fundamentals. Now, all those people who are already aware about it will be having a brief revision, but the people who does not have any programming background or who does not have any sort of knowledge from previous sections, then you will be able to understand, because if you create an application, you should be aware about what are variables, what are operators, and what are control flow. Okay, so control flow. So let me just give you a little brief. Okay, talking about variables. So variables are used to store the data. Okay, the variables can store all of your data. Now in Flutter, the variables which we have are few that I'll be telling you. First one is string. Okay, so like string, for example, string will store all of your textual part, that is name and everything. Then you have the integer, like for example, int age equals to 25. Okay, so you can give any sort of age character over here. So int age equals to 25. Then after that, you have double. Double will store your decimal part, like height, for example, like 1.75 meters. Then you have a boolean. Okay, you have bool that is married or is male. Okay, uh, equals to true or false. So these are all the things that are in a variable. Like there are more variables as well, but you will be understanding those when we will be dealing further. Okay, like when we will be creating more complex application, at that time you will be able to use all that. Currently you just have all these four variables which we will be using. Okay, now inside this what you can see that these are comments. In Dart basically you can do you can comment out like this, or you can either comment out. If you have a single line comment, you can just use two slashes. And if you have a multiple line comment, you can use like that, slash and a asterisk and slash, like that. Okay. So that's about variables. Okay. We will be implementing all those variables in the upcoming part, so don't worry for that. Then you have what after variables, you have operators. Okay. Now inside this you have operators. So operators are of many types. Okay. First one is basic operators. So for example, like this, you have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. Now in our programming world, we does not use cross. We use an asterisk sign for multiplication. Okay. Like for example, if you will write 1 plus 1 equals to 2, that is what addition. Okay, you are doing addition right here. Then you have 2 minus 1 equals to 1, that is a subtraction. Then you have if you have to multiply 2 into 4, 2 into 2 equals to 4, that is multiplication, and it's done like that. These are the operators which are used for performing these certain tasks. Then you have division. So if you want to divide, you will write 4 divided by 2, that is 2. And if you need the remainder, we use this modulus. Like 5 modulo 2 equals to 1. It means what? Sir, which SW you have used? SW means what? Or what exactly you are trying to say by SW? Please clarify it. Okay. So these are the basic operators like modulus, divisions, multiplication, and all these. Okay. Similarly, we have some more, that is comparison operators. So we use this comparison operators. Comparison operators means if you want to compare something or like that. So comparison operators. Okay, so comparison operators are also present over here. Now inside this comparison operators, you can see that we have equals to, or what, equal to, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than equals to, less than equals to, and all these things. Okay. So to perform that, what you can write, if you know that the certain condition is true, that means 1 equals to 1, it's true, right? Then you will use this comparison operators. If you have that 1 not equals to 1, obviously it's a false. So you can write this like that. Then you have is 1 greater than 1? Obviously not, it's a false. Then you have 1 less than 1? No. 1 greater than equals to 1? Yeah, it's a true because you are also using an equals to sign over here. Okay, and similarly you have 1 less than equals to 1. That is also a true. So this is a basic comparison operators. I'm just giving you a basic idea so that you should be getting revision. All those people who have already learned will get a proper revision, and the people who are unable to understand, just comment down below, and we will be creating a basic one shot for this Dart programming language so that all the doubts and everything will be solved. Okay, so these are the basic comparison operators over here. And after this comparison operators, you even have this logical operators. So let me give you a basic about logical operators. So now what logical operators contains? True, not true, and all these. Okay. So let me give you an idea about the logical operators. So it's like 1 equals to 1, and 2 equals to 2 equals to true. What are we are writing over here is we are defining that here both conditions must be true. Okay, so that is what a logical operator. If we will write a condition like if 1 equals to 1 and 2 equals to 2. That means you are defining this certain thing that 1 should be equals to 1 and 2 should be equals to 2. At that time only the things will work. So this is a logical operator. Like for example, here we have 1 equals to 1 or 2 equals to 3. Here you can see that one condition is not true also. So in this case, you uses or. I hope you have already learned this part, but I'm just giving you a brief so that you can understand it. Okay. Then you have after this you have a not condition. Okay. So we uses not of 1 equals to 1. That means here the condition is false, so it will return true. How? 1 equals to 1 is true, right? But we have written a exclamation mark, which means you have to reverse that. That means it is not equals to. That's why you're getting a false. Okay. So it's a basic thing. Now, these are done. After that, you have control flow. Control flow. Okay. So control flow are the statements that defines or are used to control the flow of the program. Okay. Now, inside this control flow, what you have, we have multiple things, like for example you have conditions, you have basic parts like if else condition or else if conditions, or then you have switches as well. So we will be doing that part later on. Okay, because understanding these things are not the main motive of our lecture. The main motive of our lecture is to understand this Flutter code. Okay, so all those things which I have told you are just for your basic understandings, because these things are needed for us to start our proper programming over there. Okay, so let me do this thing. Let me just launch an emulator so that you can see that our code is running or not. Okay, so we have a basic code right here. Let me do one thing. Let me just run it. Okay, either you can use Flutter run or you can just click on run right this. If you have all those proper things installed, if you have all the extensions installed in your application, it will be running exactly fine. Okay, so we have this app. It's gonna take about a minute or so to run properly because yeah, it sometimes take time. What are the error? Either it's giving or not. Okay, yeah, so currently it's not giving us any sort of error, but why it's not getting started? Let me see. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's firstly go to this Flutter basic, and inside this we have a separate folder, right? What its name is basic app. So I'll write basic app, and inside this I'll write Flutter run. Okay. As soon as I will click Flutter run, please correct this. Okay, so that image is, I guess, giving us an error. Okay, let me go to pubspec.yaml. And yeah, let's just do one thing. Let's just remove that image for now. Okay. Now, if I will again restart it, Flutter run, it should work properly. Yeah, you can see that it's asking you for options. I'll select the second one because I need the phone should work. Okay. Uh, I have used a software VS Code. Okay, we are using VS Code. In the previous lecture, we have already understood how to install VS Code. Okay, and how to get started with extensions and Flutter and everything. So make sure to check that previous video. Then only you will be able to understand this part. Okay. So here you can see that we have successfully launched our Flutter application. Okay, it's a basic app. It's saying us hello world. Okay, so it's just for you to understand that, see, this is the center part, right? If I will just remove this, okay, center, if I'll be not using this center right here, and if I'll just reload it, performing a hot restart, and if you will see that the text has been gone. Okay, so the center text aligns our the center element aligns our text into center. Okay, control plus. Okay, so yeah, now if I will reload, it's gonna do visit right here. Okay, hello world. Now inside this you have understood already hello world. Now build context over here, which you saw, Build context represents the location of our widget. Okay, what it does, it allows widget to interact with the surrounding environment. Okay, so that is what our build context is. Then what you have over here, we have this file imported, which is giving us all these proper tools and widgets and material app and everything. So yeah, that part should be clear for everyone. Now what you have is inside this you even have a container. Container is a more versatile model than any other widgets, okay, because you can easily style it. Like in center it's a little difficult, but if I'll change it with a container, okay, if I'll add a basic container over here, and inside this container, if you will add anything, like suppose inside this child, if you add a basic text, okay, now inside this you have a basic text like hello world, and you have even given a proper text styling over here. Okay, so here you are getting error. Yeah. And we will this time start it from here. Bug any, still there is some error in it. Let me check. Okay, so let me just remove this const from here, and you can add a const in this text part. Okay, so now it's fine. Now we will be just running our application. We will click run right here, and you can see it's clearly saying Flutter is launching. Okay, you can even minimize the size of your emulator so that it won't take your whole screen. Okay, now you can clearly see that we have our proper code. Let me minimize all these codes. Yeah. Now you can see that we have a hello world. Now text has been properly styled. I'll be explaining you the code just in a second. But I'm just trying to show you why we use as a container is because see, if I will write text align center, you can see now the text has already aligned in the center. You don't need to properly use a center tag or center widget to properly do it. Now you have just properly aligned it, and you can even, give a width and a color. Like suppose I want to give the color of my container, I have given yellow. If you will reload, you can see it's a full container. But if I want to minimize the height, I just need to add a height of 100. Okay, reload. Now you can see it's 100. And the width is currently full. If you will add a width, you can add the width as well, 200. Like currently I have added the width as 200, right? Hello. Yeah. So you can see that now currently we have our width properly aligned as well. Now, what you can do if you even need to align this, you can do that part, right? Currently you can see it's already getting aligned properly. Now, let me just remove this part because it's not going to serve any purpose to us. Yeah. The container is that small, and inside this container, you can see we are getting this particular thing. Now, if you will even align this container inside the center or anything, you can do that part as well. Okay, like if you will hit run, you can see the container has also aligned in the center. Then if you will write align center, the text will also be aligned in the center. Like there are lots of ways to practically do things. This what we have done, we have create a basic container over here. Inside this container we have our text. Text has also different sorts of proper alignments or modifications like text style, size, font weight, and color. Okay. Now inside this, what I have done, I have created a container. Inside this container, we have text, and this container is stored inside the center widget. What this center widget does, the center widget will take the container in the center, and all those modifications will be working. Okay, so that's a basics for you to understand. The styling and everything is also very easy, but yeah, let me explain you. Color means we are basically specifying a color, that is colors.yellow. If you want to change it, you can do as colors.pink. Okay, and it will be changed. You can see the color. Then inside this text, what you have? every container has a child. Child means the subsection of that container. What exactly you are going to store inside that container, that is called a child. So child is a text because inside this container we have stored a text. After this, the text is hello world, and we have also given a styling to the text. Styling is what? That we have defined the font style to be 30, and you have given the font weight as bold, and you have given the colors to blue. You can even do that colors dot white. Okay, and what it will do, it will change the color to white and it will be highlighted even more. Okay, so that is the basics, the text widget. And similarly, you even have an icon. Okay, when obviously we are going to be creating a project, you should be having a proper idea how icons work or how icons are used. Icons are very crucial in conveying a meaning to your app. Okay, what you can do, you can even add an icon in it. Like instead of this text, let me do one thing. Let me take out this text, and we are going to be storing an icon in that. So I'll write an icon. Okay, you can see that we have a different sorts of icons. So I need currently icon dot star. Okay, icons dot star dot star. Okay, this is a star, and inside the icons you need to specify the colors. For example, I'm gonna specify colors equals to colors dot white. Okay, and what you are even going to do, you are even going to define a size, proper size, what size you need. So size is 30. Now icon can be stored inside const because it's constant. Now see, this is a star, right? We have, I don't know, maybe created a flag or something of any country. But yeah, this is how our icons work. Okay. Then similarly, uh, after this, you have a home. Okay. If you will click on home, like if I'll see home, there are a lot and lots of icons. You can just go on to the website and you can check on the icons, what icons are there. Now, what I'll be doing is I'll be storing a proper, like if you obviously create an application and you will be, might have seen that there is a certain options, right? Icon, home icon, triple line icon, which defines us that, yeah, that's a menu button. So you can even do that as well. Let me add this title as basic page, and inside this you will add an actions. Okay. Now, what is an action? Action will be storing a proper widget. Okay. Now inside this we will write an icon button. Icon button. Okay. What is an icon button? It will be defining us that, yeah, we have something to press or we have something which will be working when we just on pressing. So like currently I'm going to store null in it. Okay. Please let me know if the things are going a little too fast. I'll be taking my time and doing a proper explanation of each and everything. My main concern is to just give you a brief about the Flutter widgets and proper properties so that we can head over to our the main goal, that is projects. So if you feel that the flow is a little fast, just let me know. Okay. Now after this, you have an icon. Inside an icon button, it's like a similar basic button, but what you have, you can let me check. If we specify is as const dot search. Okay, let me just reload it, and yeah, now you can see that we are getting a search button. And if I am also clicking on it, we are getting this proper uh, loading values, right? I hope my voice is clear to everyone, right? Yeah. So you can see that this is a basic button that we have added over here, right? This button represents that how it will be looking. Okay. This is called an app bar widget. Okay. Now, similarly, you have columns as well in our Flutter. Like if you need to add a lot of columns in it, you can add columns as well. Now, how you will be defining a column? Let me just close all these center part and let me just add column. Inside this column, you have children. Okay. See, when we were using a single widget, it was child. Child is single. That means that proper container can only contain one child, one subsection. But it's a column. Column will be having multiple values. That's why it's called children. It's very easy to understand if you will be just knowing the basic means, right? Yeah. So inside this, what you have, you can store multiple things. Like for example, text. Inside this text, you can add anything like hello world. Okay. Then similarly, you will be adding another hello world again, or I'll write hello again. Then you have what? You have hello again again. Okay. So that's okay. That's what our looks like, and we will be adding a const because the values are constant. Now, if I will hit run, you can see hello, hello again, again, and like that. It's going like that, right? Now you can even add customizations to all, like alignment if you need. Like if I need to do alignment, like cross-axis alignment dot center, main axis alignment dot center. Like see, main axis alignment means this top to down, and cross means left to right. Okay. If you will enter cross-axis alignment, now it will be uh, coming. Let me remove that, and yeah, cross-axis alignment will make that it's in the center. Okay, now for that you have to make sure that everything is stored inside a container. Let me do one thing. I'll be storing this column inside a big container. Okay, that's why now if I will align the container anywhere, okay, alignment dot center, it will be aligned in the center, right? Now you can see that it's aligned in the center, and inside this you can store multiple values. Like if I'll just copy and paste this text again, it will be easily able to store it because it can store multiple values in it. That's why it's called a column. Okay. And container can only store one and only one value. Okay. Similarly, you have a list view. Now, what is this list view? Inside this list view, if you will see, like suppose you have a lot of list inside it. Okay. And you want to make sure that uh, those lists are like your screen is very big and you have proper scrollable items and you need, that it should be in the form of list. At that particular time, you will use list view. Okay, so list, I have entered a column, so list view. Okay, so this is how a list view will look. Okay. List view will not be having any sort of const because obviously it's a list and it's movable. So that's why you cannot add any const in it. Okay. Instead, you can add constant into any of these text values. Like for each and every values, you can add a const. Okay. Basic const like that. Now, what you have inside this list, if I will reload, you can see that it's moving a little bit, right? You can see if I'll be scrolling it and if I'll be adding a lot of things, it's moving. Let me do one thing. Let me give some properties to all. Like styling will be big color. Okay. Now I'll just copy this styles and I'll give all these styles to each and every element. Let me just copy it and I'll just paste it. Okay. I'm just trying to show you that how list will work. So comma paste, and paste, and similarly comma paste, and yeah. Now you can see that we have successfully added some colors, some lines of code and text and everything. Now if I will hit again, you can see now it has become really big. Now size and text and all are looking proper in it. Okay. So I'll do what? I'll just make sure that I have added enough. So we'll just copy paste again and again. Okay. And I'll hit just run. And now you can see that we have a list. This list is moving because if you will be having a lots and lots of properties in it, it will be able to keep it all in it. Okay. So yeah, list will be having all of our data properly stored. Okay. Then what you have a grid. Okay. You have grid. The grid view allows you to create a scrollable grid of widgets. And it is excellent for displaying 2D elements. It's like in a form of a grid. Let me just show you how grid will be looking. Okay, now inside this container, we will be adding a grid. This alignment center won't work for these list views and grids. Okay, they have their own sort of different in this code. So what I'll be adding grid view dot builder. Okay, inside this you have multiple properties. Okay, now what is grid view? Inside this you have, grid delegate. In that you can add some counts and everything like silver grid. Like if it's getting confused, don't get confused on it, because yeah, sometimes when I even started for the first time, it was difficult for me as well to understand what is a grid view. Okay, but a grid view is very easy to understand when you will be working with it. Okay, like let me just format it for once. Yeah, see, grid will also not take the const value right here. Okay, so let me see. Yeah. Now, if you will see, we have proper written like that. What is an index? Index is int. Yeah. Item builder is what we have basically created. Now, if I will hit run, you will be able to see that we have created basic items. Okay. See, this is a grid view. Now, if I will be just going on, it's an endless loop. Okay, we have created an endless elements, and what it is, cross axis count, how many axes should be there. Like if I'll add 4 over here, and if I'll just hit reload, you can see now we have 4 items in each. है And if I'll just add one item in it, cross axis count, that means we will be only having one item over here. Yeah, you can see this is a grid. Scrollable screens. Okay, if I remember in the previous stream, someone was asking how exactly we will be handling scrollable screens. So yeah, grid view like that. List view was also there, and grid view is also there. Okay, so that's for the grid view. Then you even have a gesture detector widget. Now, what happens is when you are working with buttons, or when you are working with, let me just remove this grid. Okay, yeah. So when you are working with proper buttons, you have to make sure that when you click on button, what exactly is going to happen. Okay, you cannot just yeah, it won't work until this error is resolved. What I can do is I can add, suppose I need to add a basic um, text or anything like container. Let me do one thing. Let me just add a container. Inside this container, I'm gonna add colors.blue. Text, I'll add center, and inside the center I'm going to add a basic text. Okay, so child will be a text, and the text will be click me or tap me, anything like that. So tap me, okay, like that. Or let's do one thing, I'll write click me. Okay, so we have added a click me. Similarly, what you need to add inside this, you need to add basic colors like colors.blue. Then you have what, you have a basic height width, so height will be 100, width will be 100, and that's it. Okay, so if I will hit run, you can see that this is a container, or it's a click me, which you can see over there. What I'll be doing, I'll be firstly aligning it in the center. Okay, so align center, and let's hit run. Maybe it got restarted or something. Okay, so let's do one thing, let's just remove this and uh, highlight it with the center. Okay, now if you will see that, yeah, your text button has came in the center part, right? Now what I will be adding, I'll be wrapping this into a widget. See, wrap with a widget, and what I'll name of that widget is gesture detector. Okay, what this gesture detector will do, it will write on tap. There is a thing called on tap in gesture detector. What you have to specify, you have to specify something which will happen when you will tap on that button. Okay, what I'll do, I'll add a basic thing like, see, print hello world. Printing will be done in the terminal below. Okay, and we have basically created a basic gesture detector. Okay, here you can see inside this output. Okay, and if I'll click here, it should technically run. And yeah, if you will see in the debug panel right here, let me just added like this. Yeah, you can see that it's printing hello world right here. Okay, whenever I'm trying to click, you can see the button. So 15 times I have clicked on this button and it's printing hello world. Like I have clicked about 20-30 times on it, and yeah, you can see that we are getting hello world over there. And similarly, what you can do, you can even add the same thing here, like print search button. Okay, search button clicked. And similarly, I'll write click me clicked. Okay, so we are going to be defining some proper values just to make you see that how it works. Like, see, whenever I'll click on this search button, you can see search button clicked, click me clicked, clicked, then search button clicked, clicked, like that. So this is how our gesture detector works. This will do what? Whenever you want anything to happen, suppose in the future when you need that, if you will click on this page should turn or you should be redirected to a new screen, that's when this gesture detector comes very handy. Now what you have a navigation route. Okay, what will be happening whenever you are trying to click something, you can add anything to navigation. Like for example, if you need to navigate through some other window, you can add this in this navigation tab. What I'll be doing here is, currently you saw that it was click me button, but now I'll be adding a navigation. Okay, I'll add a navigator. Okay, navigator dot push. Push means it's going to push us to the new screen. Where we are going to be pushed, we are going to be pushed to a material page route. And what the page of root is, second root. Currently we don't have any sort of page like that. Like if you will click and if you will see, there is no button right here. So what I'll do here is, I'll create a new file. I'll write second page. Okay, dot dot. Now inside this second page dot dot, what we are going to be specifying, suppose import material dot dot, then what you have this second page, right? So what I'm going to write, I'm going to just specify the class second page. Okay, and also inside this second page you have a basic code. Just currently don't focus on that code, but yeah, you can see that we have added this thing. Currently we have not written this import, sorry, void main part, because this is only added once throughout your app. Okay, because this is the entry point, so it can be only added once. In the second page, what I have written a basic class. Inside also we have some same code. Everything is same. You just have to make sure to see it. Okay. What I'll do here is, I'll be adding this button, and yeah, you can see that it's still showing us an error because we have not linked it. Okay. We will link it here, second root. Okay. So let's rename it as second root. And now if I will click, you can see import library package basic app second page dot dart. What this import has done, it is called a relative import, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Inside this, what we does, we are importing basically an package from our own application. Currently, as you saw, we have created a specific page. This page has been converted into a package, and that package is also imported. That means these both pages can now correlate and talk with each other properly. Okay, that's why we call it as, relative importing. Now why relative? Because we have imported from our own package. Okay, here, so this is relative importing. And let me see what error. Yeah, you have to remove this const to make sure that it works properly. Now let me just reload it. Okay, now you can see that it's reloaded. First let's check whether it's working or not, and if it will be working fine, I'll be explaining you the code properly. Now if I'll click, what error it's throwing, I guess it threw some sort of error. Yeah, gesture detector recognizer state possible one area offset button sent tap down. Okay, exception caught navigator operation requested with a constraint, and that does not include a navigator. Okay, let's check what this error is. Copy it, and what we can properly add it to solve this error. Sometimes when you get an error and you don't know how to do it, you can just go and search it on Stack Overflow, and yeah, it will be working fine. The issue is because the material app context library creating a new widget may solve this. Okay, so what it says it builder widget. Okay, so what it says here is that we can wrap all of it. Okay, body, we can wrap all of this body into this builder widget. Let's see what widget we have over here. Material app builder widget. Let's wrap with builder. Okay, yeah, let's see whether it is going to work or not. Inside the second page, what it does, it takes build context dot widget. Okay, so let's try to rerun it. If it still gives us an error, we'll see it. Okay, yeah. Now you can see that, as you saw that whenever I just read that on Stack Overflow, now you can see that we have successfully got our second page. And if I will click on this, we have been back to the new page. See, by this we have successfully created a very basic navigation application, okay, where you are able to navigate between two screens and you are able to successfully run your code in an efficient manner. Okay, now let me explain you the page two code. What we are done doing in the second page is we have just created a basic stateless widget. That part is clear. Then we are defining a widget called build. Inside this build, we are basically returning a scaffold. Scaffold will be having basic tools for implementing or creating an app. Inside that, you have an app bar. App bar is a navigation bar or navigation pane which is used above. Okay. And inside this, you have a body which is wrapped by center. Inside the center, you have created a column. What this column says two lines. Okay, as I told you, that column can store multiple things in it. Main axis alignment is center, that means it's aligned in the center. What it says is that first line, it says this is second page, and inside this it has created an elevated button. This a button and all I'll be explaining you just in a minute. This is an elevated button. Every button has their default gesture detector. Because it's a button, obviously it will be having any sort of gestures. So you can see that whenever we will be pressing on it, you will be navigator.pop. Okay, what is the pop and the push in Flutter? Like, suppose what happens if you have a basic memory of every device have a memory in it. Okay, so in this memory, what do you do when you are running an application? It stores certain amount of files. So when I'm doing push, navigator.push, so what it does, it will push the new page inside the memory. Okay, and after pushing that page, there is a previous page in it, right? So it's pushed upon it. But when I'll click navigator.pop, pop means this page will be deleted. That's why we are redirected back to the original page. Okay, so that's a basic example of how navigator and dot push or navigator.pop works. Okay, you can see that we have created a proper page. Similarly, what I'll be just doing, I'll be just creating this. I'll be just copying out this button and we will just paste it here instead of you know writing it all the way like this. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me just add a column. Okay, sometimes you can do what, you can just copy out this whole code and you can just paste it however you want. Yeah, so I'll just copy the code from the second page into the first page. Yeah, here you can see we have builder here. Okay, so gesture detector. See, this is first page. This is first page, and you have to go to second page. Go to second page. Yeah. So what we have done, created created a basic layout which will be looking extremely fine. Okay, now inside this text, I'll be giving a proper elements and alignment to this text. Font size should be 20, and also the color. color also should be proper. Okay, so what you can do, you can even add some text colors or stylings to it, and it will be working like this. Let me rerun it. And yeah, if I'll click, see, go to the second page instead of, yeah, what I'll do, instead of writing navigation.pop, I'll write navigation.push. Now this push will be having some different values. What you will write when you push, firstly, you will be defining the context that, yeah, you need to access some certain context. Then you will write material page root, okay, or you will be writing material page root. Inside this, you will be defining proper certain uh, routing path. Okay, let me reload it. And yeah, now if I will click on this, you have been redirected to the second page, then first page, like that you can do. You even have this particular back button as well, right? Let me show you in the second code. You have this back button also. It's default. See, there is no code in the second page, but still it is their default. And if I will use that, if I will click this back button, still we are able to move it. We are able to redirect back. But yeah, what it will do, it will just, it will not delete that particular page from the code. It will be storing all of that in it. Okay. Now, if I will just reload the code, it should work fine. Yeah. Now you can see that this is how you will be understanding the basic parts of Flutter. Okay. Now after this, what you have successfully understood the navigation part. Okay. Now what we have a basic stateless and stateful widget. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's understand all of that with an example. Okay. What I'll be doing, I'll be creating a basic app, which will be a counter app. Okay. What it will be having some basic values. Let me do one thing. Let me add in this part, state convert into stateful widget. Okay, you can just click right here and you will be having this button and you can write convert into stateful widget. Here you can see convert to stateful widget and it will be converted itself. You don't have to do any sort of work. Okay. Now after this, you have some states. Firstly, as I have just told you in the beginning that we have an integer and I'm going to store an integer that is called counter. Counter is 0. Okay. Now after this counter, you have a basic app bar and inside this app bar, I'm going to write what? Counter app. Okay. Counter app. What I'm going to do, I'm going to be explaining you a basic application. Okay. As I have already told you, this counter app example, I'm going to show you counter app example that how exactly it's work, how exactly our stateful and stateless widgets work. Okay. So I've named it as counter app. Now inside this body, you have center, then you have a child. Inside this child, you have the main axis alignment as center. And inside this, you have what? Text. This text will be storing our counter. So what I'll write, I'll firstly write the text as counter. And what this dollar will do, okay, this dollar over here will take the value from the above counter. Like if I'll click on that, you can see this is the counter that's gonna take the value. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a sized box, basic sized box. Okay. Sized box is be Size box is kind of, a gap which I'm gonna add in it. Okay. Don't get confused with any code. If you have any issues understanding it, just comment it. Okay. We have used a text and we have also used a sized box. Sized box will be giving us a basic, let me run it. And if I'll hit here, you can see counter app. The counter is currently 0. Okay. Let me just also add some properties for it, you to see it. Okay. See, counter is currently 0. Then what you have, we will be adding an elevator button. Elevated button will be having what text. Okay. So what I'll just do, I'll write increment. Okay, like this. If I'll let me see what error we are facing. Okay, so that part is done. Maybe we need a basic comma. Yeah. Now we have added the comma. If I will run it, you can see that this is an increment counter. Okay. color sorts of have an issue, so we'll add it black. Okay, so we have given it a black color. You can see increment the counter. And what we will be doing on press, instead of writing this navigator.pop, we will just write increment that counter plus plus. Okay. Now what this will do, this will, whenever we will be tapping on it, it will be incrementing the value. Okay. Let's do one thing. ln1, and it's let me see why it's not incrementing. Yeah, you can see that we have to reload to see that whether it's incrementing or not. Okay, see, this is like this time I just clicked for 7 times and it is showing me 7 values. Okay, what I'll be doing, I'll be even printing it here. Okay, so I'll be printing what? I'll be printing the counter. Okay, inside our command prompt or inside our debug console. Okay, so if I will hit run, you can now see that I'm creating count 8, count 9, count 10, count 11, count 12, count 13, like that. 14 counter is currently 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Currently you cannot see because it's not refreshing every single time, but if I'll see, counter is 20. So this is how we have successfully created a basic counting app as well. And we have also understood the basic fundamentals of Flutter. In the next part, we will be understanding about the advanced topics. Okay, we will be covering out some of the advanced features like how you can, uh, create multiple pages, how you can access multiple pages, what are the difficulties which you faces when you are working with all of that. All these things we will be understanding in the upcoming next video. Okay, so I hope you have understood each and everything that we have learned. If you still have any sort of issues understanding any part, any topic, or anything which we have learned, just comment down below and I'll be explaining each and everything for you. Okay. And if you need a Dart tutorial, just let me know that as well. We will be creating a one shot for it so that everything which we are covering into this full project series will be way, way smooth and easy for you to understand. Okay. So this was pretty much it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel and share this series with all of your friends so that this particular project series can be reached to all people who wants to create amazing projects with Flutter. Okay, so this was pretty much it for this video. I will catch you in the next one. Till then, see ya, have a great day, and bye bye.